If you're joining us today, chances are you are feeling it. That constant high-volume pressure. We live in a world that doesn't just tolerate noise. It kind of glorifies it.
It absolutely does. It's everywhere. Every app, every platform, it feels like it demands a response, a reaction.
Totally. And that constant stream of content, I mean, taking a week off LinkedIn, it feels less like a break and more like, I don't know, digital disappearance these days.
Right. It's this relentless current. You could call it noise pollution, really.
That's a good way to put it. Noise pollution.
And the problem with that pollution is, well, it breeds reactivity. We feel this, compulsive need to fill every gap, every silence.
Every single second, yeah. With talking or posting or something,
Yeah.
we end up confusing volume with actual value.
Exactly. We're sort of conditioned, aren't we, to think you have to be the loudest one out there, on the feed, in the meeting.
To get noticed or get ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. But our sources today, they're presenting something really different.
Dramatically different.
They argue that strategic silence, it's not about being lazy. It's not an absence of effort. It's actually a deliberate choice, a powerful one.
That's it, precisely. And our mission today in this deep dive is to really pull apart the mechanics of that, that quiet strength.
Okay.
We want to show you how strategic silence can genuinely become your most powerful tool for influence, for clarity, ultimately for success.
So it's about separating the reactive creators, maybe?
It
The
is.
ones burning out?
Yeah, separating them from the more thoughtful leaders, the ones who are playing the long game.
Okay, so here's the first big idea to kind of chew on. You don't get sharper by just shouting more or posting constantly.
You get sharper by observing.
Observing, okay.
Yeah.
So let's start there. How does this play out in, say, our relationships? Professionally, maybe?
Well, the moment we step back from that compulsion to just speak, we open the door to active listening, truly active listening.
Which lets you understand people beyond just the usual small talk, right?
Yes.
Beyond the noise.
Far beyond it. You move past those surface-level transactional interactions
It really shifts the dynamic, doesn't it? From two people just waiting to talk.
to someone actually absorbing what's being said, yeah. And Candace Spears, one of our sources, points this out. She says, silence helps you connect the dots in someone's story.
Connect the dots. So you start seeing the patterns, the why behind what they're saying.
Exactly. Not just isolated facts. You see motivations, underlying issues, and that depth. That's absolutely crucial for building real, authentic trust.
How does silence build trust, specifically?
Well, when you use it right, strategic silence projects sincerity almost immediately. It creates this safe space in the conversation,
Yeah.
non-judgmental.
And that invites people to share more, things they might usually hold back.
Precisely. They share what truly matters. Those critical details they wouldn't reveal if they felt like they were just fighting for airtime,
Okay, I get the soft power aspect, building trust, better relationships.
Right.
But let's go about results. How does this translate to, hard numbers, performance reviews?
Right. How does quietness actually pay off?
Yeah, exactly. Let's unpack the metrics.
Okay, so this is where the science really backs up the strategy. And the numbers are, well, they're pretty staggering.
Go.
Research from the World Economic Forum highlights something fascinating. Employees who really master strategic silence, they get, on average, 15% higher performance ratings.
15%. Wow, okay, hold on. 15% higher than their more vocal colleague.
Then they're more vocal peers, yeah.
So what's the mechanism there? Is it that they're just doing better work because they're less distracted? Or is it more about how they're perceived, like they seem wiser?
That's a great question, and it seems to be a powerful mix of both, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. If you're not constantly reacting, you are conserving mental energy, right?
Okay.
That allows for deeper, more focused work, higher quality output.
Makes sense.
But crucially, perception plays a huge role too. People tend to perceive deliberate silence as thoughtfulness, as competence, control.
So when you speak less,
Your words carry more weight.
exactly, you become that person everyone actually listens to when you finally do speak. Huh. And that must impact leadership too.
Oh, absolutely. Leaders who use silence strategically, they experience 3 times fewer conflicts.
3 times fewer. That's significant.
It is. And they preserve their professional reputation much more effectively, simply because they avoid that unnecessary friction from, knee-jerk comments or reactions.
Right, not filling every silence, avoid stepping on toes accidentally.
Precisely. Which brings us to the power of the pause. Just pausing.
Okay.
Pausing after you make a key point isn't just for catching your breath. It's a tool for influence. The data shows it can increase message retention and influence by up to 60%.
60%.
Just by pausing.
Yep. You're literally giving the idea space, time to sink in, for the listener's brain to actually process it, instead of just letting your words wash over them.
It's like letting one course settle before serving the next one.
That's a perfect analogy. You're timing your words for maximum impact, making sure they stick. Okay, so let's shift to conflict and negotiation, because this is where I think most people feel that urge to jump in, right, to control things.
Definitely. It's high stakes. But psychologist Michael Arndt has this brilliant framing. He says silence isn't avoidance in these moments.
It's not. What is it then?
It's actually deep engagement.
Engagement. How so?
Think about a heated argument. Silence acts like an ice bath. It cools the emotional temperature right down, slows everything.
Okay.
It creates that precious space you need for a thoughtful, measured response, instead of just blurting out something reactive that you'll regret 5 minutes later.
I like that frame. Silence as engagement. But let me push back a bit. In a tense negotiation, if you just go silent, couldn't that be read as weakness? Or like you're unsure, indecisive?
And that's the critical difference between strategic silence and just passive silence, or anchored silence.
Okay, explain that.
Strategic silence isn't just closing your mouth. It's accompanied by steady eye contact, composed posture. It signals, I'm confident, I have self-control, I can wait.
So it projects strength because you choose not to react immediately.
Exactly. You have the patience to wait. And because you waited, when you do speak, your words carry so much more weight, more credibility.
That patience really is a tactical advantage then, especially in negotiation. You mentioned Georgie McLean's insight.
Yes, the art of the pause in negotiation. McLean talks about how silence can compel revelation.
Compel revelation? You mean get the other person to talk more?
Precisely. You make your offer or you hear their demand, and then you just wait, comfortably silent. The other side often feels this irresistible urge to fill that quiet.
And they end up saying things they didn't mean to.
Often, yes, they might reveal their real bottom line or their worries, maybe some competitive info, things they never intended to share. You essentially wait them out, and they might just hand you the key.
That's fascinating. You're basically using their own discomfort with silence strategically.
It's incredibly effective. So that's one aspect. Second, pausing exerts control. It subtly shifts the rhythm of the conversation to your favor. You set the pace.
Right. You're not being rushed.
Exactly. And third, maybe the most important, silence creates breathing room for better decisions. It cuts down dramatically on regret, prevents those conflicts that arise from just rushing into agreements.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly powerful, but it feels like it hinges on using it, well, ethically, with good intent.
Absolutely crucial, which is why we have to talk about the dark side, the caveat. When silence becomes toxic,
Right, the destructive side.
we need to address the punishment silence trap. That's when silence isn't strategic, it's used as a weapon. For manipulation, for control, or just straight up punishment.
And that just destroys trust.
Irreparably, it poisons communication, stalls any chance of resolution.
Our sources mentioned the One Love Foundation, didn't they? Warning about this.
Yes, they're very clear. Withholding communication specifically to control or punish someone, that's emotionally unhealthy. And in serious cases, it can actually be a form of emotional abuse.
Okay, so the intention is everything.
It's the absolute core difference. Think about it. A CEO pauses for 5 seconds after hearing bad news to really process it. That's strategic. That's good leadership.
Okay.
But a manager giving an employee the silent treatment for a whole day after a minor disagreement, that's punishment. That's weaponized silence.
So true strategic silence is intentional, it's temporary, it's respectful, it creates space for growth.
Exactly. While the silent treatment is vindictive, it builds walls. Walls that are incredibly hard to tear down later.
The second your intention shifts to making someone else suffer with your silence, you've crossed a dangerous line. You really have to check your why.
Absolutely. So assuming we're committed to using silence purely for growth, for strategy, how do we actually practice this day to day? How do we build this muscle?
Okay, actionable steps. Step 1 sounds simple, but I think it's profoundly difficult for many of us.
What is it?
Observe more, comment less.
Really sharpen your awareness just by watching quietly. Resisting that immediate urge, that impulse, to jump into every online thread or every single conversation with your opinion.
Delaying gratification, essentially. Gathering intel while others just fill the air.
Exactly. The world is shouting, you need to be gathering data. That internal resistance, like you said, that's the tough part.
Okay, what's step 2?
Step 2 builds on that. Listen deeply.
then respond with intention.
So use the silence to really process not just the words, but what's underneath them.
Yes, read between the lines, understand the intent, the emotion, and then use that quiet moment to formulate your own clear intention. Respond with purpose, not just reacting on impulse.
Got it. Process first, respond second, and step 3.
Step 3, embrace the pause. Get comfortable with comfortable silence.
So not seeing silence as awkward, but as a sign of mastery.
Exactly. When you're comfortable with it, often others around you start to mirror that. The whole frantic pace of the interaction slows down. Resist that compulsive need to just fill every gap with noise. Okay, practical steps. Observe more, listen deeply, embrace the pause. How about a challenge for our listeners?
Good idea.
All right, here's a challenge for you listening right now. Try one 24-hour period of selective silence on social media.
Selective silence, meaning?
Meaning, watch, read, absorb all you want, but don't post, don't comment. For 24 hours.
Ooh, that's interesting. What should people look out for?
Notice what you learn about the actual flow of information, maybe about the noise level. But more importantly, notice what you learn about your own impulses. What happens when you deny yourself that instant gratification of just jumping in?
That could be really revealing. It really ties back to the core benefit, doesn't it? This quiet advantage protects your energy, protects your reputation.
In this ridiculously noisy world where, let's be honest, so many people are just shouting and braining out fast, you conserve your focus, your emotional stability. Those are valuable resources.
And it positions you for bigger wins, strategically, because you've allowed yourself time to think deeply, reflect honestly.
And then act with real clarity when it actually matters. You're stepping off that hamster wheel of constant content, choosing thoughtfulness, long-term impact.
We all chase that idea, right? Be seen, be heard, be remembered.
We do?
But maybe sometimes silence speaks louder, resonates longer than just a flurry of words ever could.
So commit to it. See strategic silence as this essential tool for your growth, for your influence. Watch closely, listen deeply.
Yet speak only with clear, purposeful intent. Silence isn't absence. It isn't weakness.
It's your secret strategy for sustainable success. And here's that final thought, something to mull over this week. Pause teaches more than posting.